things can certainly change a lot very quickly, can't they? I moved into a new place, the world's turned a couple months older, my laptop is finally fixed, and Halloween has come and gone, hasn't it? Yeah, the laptop dying kinda stifled my plans for a finale spooktacular for this year's Halloween special, huh? If only there was a way to go back. Oh. Oh. That's convenient. I love when perfect segue devices magically appear in my house, as is a common occurrence in the real world. Well, screw it, let's bite the bullet. Let's go back. Besides, it's 2020. It's not like every month hasn't been terrifying. Whoa. It actually worked. I forgot this isn't my house yet. I should leave.
Well, according to my calendar, it is yet again October 31st. Perfect timing. We have a little bit of time to kill before we get back to the present, so let's have ourselves a little nightmare before Christmas, shall we? Let's talk about something truly horrifying, the likes of which I've never talked about on this channel before. That's right. Sonic R.
Yeah, I realize old Sonic racing game probably wasn't on your list of expected things I would claim to be scarier than demons, but really, isn't that the truest form of evil? Something unexpected? Something lurking? Something that masks its true intentions before sinking its teeth into your flesh? Yes, it is. Besides, I got this mysterious unlabeled game disc in my mailbox penned by a dying best friend, so what else am I gonna do? Report it to the police or something? Sonic R is a 1997 racing game developed by Traveler's Tales, oh god, here we go again, in collaboration with Sonic Team to fill the Sonicless void that sat at the center of the Sega Saturn console after the cancellation of the much-anticipated Sonic X-treme. Let's just say it didn't push many console sales. In Sonic's debut 3D outing, God help him, he must participate among 10 other playable characters in a measly 5 racetracks in order to acquire Chaos Emeralds, access secret gateways, and slam face first into walls on the odd occasion, you know, when he feels like spicing it up. The game is similar to other mascot racing games of its ilk, like Mario Kart, only virtually sapped of all charm and life. It does feature some, for what it's worth, unique mechanics for the time, centered around jumping and exploration for hidden items and objectives, but this is thoroughly ruined by everything else. With a 9-month development cycle, an iconically cheesy Europop soundtrack, and a mixed to negative reception for its trouble, Sonic R remains one of the most polarizingly strange video games I could have ever fever-dreamed into existence, and its arcane wiles have thrust many a video gamer new and old into the throes of blind confusion. So what exactly makes this game what it is? How does the content hold up? And most importantly, can you feel the sunshine? Does it brighten up your day? Well, friends, there's no sunshine where we're going. And although you may not like the answer to these questions, you are doubtlessly going to receive them. Let's head for the finish line and not waste any more time. This is Sonic R for the Sega Saturn.
Why weren't you at elf practice?
Sonic R is obviously, well, a racing game, despite how generous that moniker may appear to be, given the actual content. When you start the game, there are only 4 racers available to choose from, that being Sonic, Tails, Knuckles, and Amy, with Dr. Eggman remaining unplayable. You compete in a set of 5 foot races across the game's various tracks, which have traditional objectives like, getting to first place, but also side objectives with multiple pathways and hidden areas, often blocked off by gates that require certain ring quotas to access. Rings can also be used to trade for a speed boost on a dash panel, which takes you farther depending on how many rings you've accrued. The standard races are probably the most simple affair in the game, obviously, and once you get used to the way that the game handles, it will take you very little time to complete them. Of course, that's assuming you will get used to the way the game handles. In case it wasn't already abundantly clear from the many scathing internet dissertations that have existed about this game long before my own, the control in this game is really bad. Steering is awkward and slippery, turning corners a virtual impossibility even when trying to use the very loose and finicky drift controls, of which I didn't even know existed when I was a child. And there will be plenty of face planting into walls for your trouble in trying to do so. Level geometry is often misleading or difficult to interpret, water hazards are painfully sluggish, and there's basically no real system of power-ups to strategically use to your benefit at all, aside from the rare Speed Shoes power-up. What should also become apparent about the game rather quickly is that the characters are not balanced at all. While Sonic, Tails, and Knuckles more or less play relatively equally to one another, Amy and Eggman in particular stick out as an incredibly clunky set of what is this? Both in their control and their general interaction with the game's environment. Hardly ever will you see either of them place above 4th or 5th in any given race, and especially not if you're playing as someone other than them. This already sets the game up to have a very rocky internal consistency, one that is predicated on a base of jank that would be borderline unacceptable in most any game, much less a racing game. Racing games, to me, live and die on the simple pleasure that you can take from replaying them, mastering the controls and courses, and feeling the high of victory as you surpass your and other players' limits again and again with each successive race. Sonic R, from the gate, fails to offer any real challenge in doing so that doesn't feel, at the very least, arbitrary by way of the game's technical failings, and therefore comes across as much more empty. Of course, it would already feel empty in any case, considering its lack of overall content and pathetically small runtime, so that's just a problem exacerbated by others still to come. So you might be thinking, obviously, the base game is not enough. Just playing the races from front to back and nothing else won't offer you enough content. What other meat is there on these bones? Well, there is more, but be warned. If you're trying to pick the spare meat off of an already rotting meal, it doesn't get any better as it goes along, if you catch my drift. And I hope somebody does, because in this game, I can't drift for shit! Like I said before, each track has hidden areas and multiple paths, most of which are accessed via gates that require a certain amount of rings to get through. These paths contain special items, which come in one of two categories: Sonic tokens and Chaos Emeralds. Sonic tokens are simple enough. There are 5 in each stage, which, when collected, will let you race one of the many secret unlockable characters, whom you must beat in a race afterward in order to keep. These characters are Metal Sonic, the Tails doll, Metal Knuckles, and Egg Robo in that order. The Chaos Emeralds do what they did in previous games, and once all of them across the main tracks are collected, the player has access to Super Sonic, who is similarly to his previous game appearances, OP as all hell and rains supreme destruction down upon his enemies, meaning he is virtually the most absurdly well-balanced character in the game, and no amount of balancing in the world makes him less equipped to easily take first place in any race. You might think that this sounds like a decent enough additional challenge to add to the game's playtime. In terms of purely time, you would be right about that. In terms of enjoyability, though, well, I understand that this sort of thing is relatively subjective, but this game can piss right off! Obtaining the Sonic tokens is one thing, you know? I can generally handle it, because even when their placement is out of the way and it takes me forever to remember where they are to optimize my route through, I still don't need to get first place in order to get the challenge race at the end, so it works. I'm all good. The Chaos Emeralds, on the other hand, sweet Lord Christ Almighty on oven-baked bread, these little candy rocks are the biggest pain in my ass imaginable. Like I said, they're usually blocked off by ring gates, which wouldn't be so bad if not for the fact that you have only a limited number of laps to stop by these gates. And stopping, as you might imagine, in a game as clunky to control as this one is a near-death sentence for your place. This is, to an extent, a problem with the Sonic tokens as well, but because your place isn't of paramount importance when going after them, it's forgivable. With the Emeralds, though, no. You have to be perfect. You have to learn the most optimal way to collect the right amount of rings by the right time of the race, to drop by the gate, maneuver yourself just perfectly to grab the emerald quickly, and get back on track. Because you can collect an emerald, but unless you've finished the race in first, the emerald arbitrarily tumbles out of your pockets like you're mishandling your iPhone. really, what is even happening here? I got it! It's not like special stages in classic Sonic games where if you fail, you come short of grabbing the thing. I grabbed the emerald! You saw me grab it! But because I didn't get first place, it just, grows legs and walks away? So yes, you've got to be a master at all these tracks to get those emeralds, which wouldn't be such a problem if it weren't for the fact that mastering these tracks means learning to mambo backwards. What I mean by that, to be clear, is learning to do something absurd, because this isn't challenging in a good way, because what's being asked of you isn't reasonable. In fact, this reminds me of a particularly iconic quote from Metabot from the Sonic 2006 Let's Play done by Something Awful member PokeCap'n. Mario Galaxy did not have a perfect camera, but it had a pretty good camera, and it, maybe didn't have perfect controls, but it had pretty good controls. So when the game says to me, alright, here is a clever challenge involving things that may temporarily alter the way you control your characters, I say, okay, that's fair, I'll give it a shot. Now, I might not get it my first try, I might not get it my 10th try, but at no point do I feel like I have been asked to do something that is simply unreasonable. This game is unreasonable. And that really just sums up the whole thing right there. These tracks, strictly speaking, nothing special in the way that they're designed. In fact, in a game with better polish, they might not even be half bad, even if a little short. But in this game, oh buddy, that is a completely different matter. Because of all the problems I mentioned earlier, this challenge starts to overstay its welcome really fast. Because nothing you'll be adjusting yourself to is actually linked to a real sense of challenge and succeeding at what the game wants you to do. What you're really succeeding at during all of this is learning how to best use the game's broken edges and mechanics to your advantage. Remember how I talked about how bumping into walls is a common occurrence in this game? Yeah, well, get used to that. And I don't mean just get used to it being there, I mean literally get used to it. Assume that it is implicit and incorporate it into your strategy. I was literally accounting for sharp bumps off of walls that I knew I wasn't going to be able to miss, and adjusting that into where I would go from there. Factoring the trajectory my ass was gonna flip off a canyon into the next path forward to my objective. That is, granted, I felt kind of impressive, but it's only because I had to dedicate to that act in the first place, not because I was being asked to even consider it, which I shouldn't have. And honestly, God help you if you're playing as anyone but the main trio trying to do any of this. Trust me, you're going to fail. Nowhere is this clearer than with the Tails doll, by the way. Seriously, this dude just sucks. If you pick him, you might as well just quit. Or stand idly at the starting line, because that's gonna give you about as good a chance at winning as actually trying. See, the fun thing is that if you've unlocked all the extra characters and play with one of them, Supersonic will be in the race by default. And as I previously established, Supersonic is an unstoppable death machine with a raging lust for blood. So, you're not getting anywhere near him. Especially with this dumb floaty trudge you get for the doll's movement speed. Seriously, I don't know what they were even thinking with this. Plus, just look at him. I mean, isn't he kind of uncanny? Those blank, soulless eyes. It's just kind of give me the creeps, but well, more on that later. If you're like me, you're probably wondering how the hell something could possibly come together like this in the first place. And to be honest, if you have a storied history with at least any era of Sonic games, this song and dance will probably sound very familiar to you. Traveler's Tales started Sonic R as a reskin of a currently developing Formula 1 game, starting in February of 1997. The schedule, as is often the case with Sonic games, was very tight, and although the team wanted more creative freedom, Sonic Team's launch plans demanded quick turnarounds. They wanted to design the tracks themselves, but handed implementation and programming over to Traveler's Tales. They wanted each track to look like previous Sonic aesthetics, housing hidden secrets and areas to explore despite being a racing game. And they wanted platforming elements that would set Sonic R apart from the rest. Well, they got what they were asking for, But Sonic Team's ambition really does seem to be their Achilles heel at the same time as their greatest strength. Because of time crunch, only 5 courses were made, and there was only one communications producer that spoke both English and Japanese on the entire team. A 40% finished build was shown at E3 in Atlanta, Georgia during June of 1997. And this under halfway finished build only differed from the final release in very minor ways. The game would release for Saturn in November of that same year to mixed reviews, which was particularly divided on the soundtrack. I myself think these tracks are absolutely cheesy, but do I hold that against it? Hell no. Sonic R's soundtrack is honestly a huge guilty pleasure for me. My absolute favorite part of the game, no doubt. Although, truth be told, I did play this game a lot as a kid. And why? Why would I do that to myself? Well, an easy answer, first of all, would be that I was tiny and didn't know anything, so I had no standard for what kind of heights a video game trying to capture my fleeting attention should aspire to. There you go, I was dumb. But in a very real sense, I did enjoy myself. Perhaps it was just because I got used to the jank quickly and because I loved anything Sonic the Hedgehog at the time, no matter how dreadful it was. I mean, I watched Sonic Underground. But something kept me coming back day after day. The tracks, so small in scale and limited in programming to anyone looking at the game now, felt like complex, mysterious lands that stretched out beyond my CRT monitor and promised a life of thrills to a starstruck 6-year-old with barely any thought in her head. There's something memorable to me about Sonic R in that sense, even if it's not for objectively good reasons. But then there's also another reason we all remember it, isn't there? Ah, that stupid doll. There's just always been something so weird about it, right? In fact, weird enough to last in the collective consciousness of Sonic fans for years, and I repeat, years back to even this day. Evidently, he wasn't even created by a member of the design team, but rather Yoshitaka Miura, who was a background artist in the Adventure era, who then moved on to do the lead background art for Sonic Lost World. Poor bastard. The doll itself isn't actually all that prominent in the game outside of being playable, and even then, his presence in the wider series is pretty limited too. However, where the Tails doll really picked up was obviously in the creepypasta scene. You all know what a creepypasta is by now, right? Those noodles. Now, I'm sure I don't need to explain the concept. Essentially, creepy campfire stories passed around the internet instead of an actual campfire. Coined from the term copypasta, copy-paste, people take, urban legend stories and copy and paste them other places. You get the idea. The tales catch on and enter the domain of internet legend if it's good enough, or if, like Jeff the Killer, you have enough tween fangirls to keep your fanart ratio high. The Tails doll is one of the earliest popular examples of a video game creepypasta really taking off on the internet. And though I can't say for sure when precisely it started, I can confirm that I've seen material alluding to such a thing dating back as far as when I was a literal child. And I'm 24 now. A veritable truckload of YouTube videos and urban legends about the doll sprung up starting in around 2005 or a bit later. Common rumors claiming that the Tails doll could curse a player and exit the screen to hunt them down. The so-called curse and its requirements are all pretty silly and obvious creepypasta trope material. But this was incredibly effective for kids back in the day who had no real frame of reference for horror experiences, especially something concerning what was otherwise a comfortable, child-friendly franchise. A popular website at the time was, no joke, a site dedicated to posting fan-submitted stories about real Tails doll encounters. Ooh. Obviously, none of these were actually real. They were just submitted for a quick 30 seconds of internet fame or kicks. Hell, even I submitted one as a child. No joke. I'll only leave it on the screen for a second here because I'm embarrassed of it, but if you really want to go through the trouble of pausing to read it, I can't stop you. Still though, obviously it means nothing, but it's interesting to see how the internet collectively flocked around a dead-eyed furry boogeyman for a while, and he's still remembered above his official characterization for this. This is even referenced outright in the Sonic Archie comics, where the doll is a spy for Eggman that can transform into a malevolent eldritch abomination. It's pretty screwed up stuff. What was that? Did the sky just go out or something? I can't see a damn thing. Oh no. Oh, I don't like where this segment is going. What is this? What do you want?
You have woken me from my restless slumber, and now you will do me the favor of suffering this fate.
What fate?
Play the game again, Marcy.
No. First time was already bad enough, thank you.
Get the Chaos Emeralds.
No, it sucks.
Do it, or you'll end up like poor Hachi.
You know that Hachi isn't, like, real, right? Like, he's just a character I made up for that story.
It doesn't matter! Hachi or no Hachi, you will still play the game, and you will give it a fairer review.
I don't really do reviews so much as just retrospectives, though. I don't really tend to tell people what I think they should feel about a game.
A fairer review.
I can't betray my morals like that, dude. Isn't there any way you could just pass over me? Leave this house? Whatever it is you demons with weird superstitious origins do?
How about I give you one chance?
A chance to do what?
To escape my grasp. Just beat me in a race.
Oh, that's it? Okay, buddy. Should have said so sooner, because this will be a total cakewalk. Oh, come on! This is bullshit. What are you doing? Did you turn the floor into water?
You never said I could not modify the track's parameters. Give up. It's useless to defy me. Your trump card is inaccessible, and this game is my sanctuary. I have accrued all my power here, and am virtually unstoppable in this realm. And soon, with your help, I will cross over into the next.
What do you mean?
Isn't it obvious? I will break your spirit by making you play so much Sonic R that your body is susceptible to spiritual hijacking. Whereupon I can enter the human realm disguised in your puppeted flesh!
Okay, pretty screwed up. I know a literature club you might fit in with.
I'm more of a Thooms guy myself. But no matter. Your loss is all but decided. And your soul is mine!
Damn it. Is this really how things end?
No.
What?
Monika?
I won't let you hurt her. Marcy, this thing is too powerful. It's been laying dormant in this game for so long. But you kept my file in your computer, even after everything that happened between us, didn't you?
Interloping harlot!
There isn't much I can do like this. It's fighting me every second I try to stay here. But it's you who taught me to see the bright side in even the most hopeless situations, right? So, I'll do what I can.
You can do nothing!
With what little strength I have left. I may not have been able to save them, but I still may be able to save you. Take this. It's my final trump card. My final...
Don't you dare!
My very last poem for you.
Even if you've reobtained your hero, you are powerless to stop me in my own world.
Last I checked, it's his world, actually. And if you knew anything about it, you'd know that this guy never loses a race.
Impossible! This game is horribly unbalanced! Not even my dirtiest tricks are stopping you!
I told you it sucks. Luckily for me, it seems my knowledge of these janky mechanics finally came in handy for something after all. Now get out of here and go back to the dollar store creepypasta realm you came from, Kevin!
But, my name is not Kevin.
Sorry, I don't know where that came from. I just got caught up in the moment, I guess.
Oh, no, duty, it's fine, I understand.
Yeah, thanks. Anyway, be I did it. I beat him. Oh God, now I never have to play that game again. Thank Christ. Okay, so sure. Maybe Sonic R isn't the best racing game out there. In fact, it's probably not very good as a game at all. But I was surprised to find how much of a residual fondness I hold for this little piece of crap at the end of the day, going back to revisit it. Sure, it's janky, it's not fun, it's challenging for all the wrong reasons. It may even be demon-possessed, who knows? But the process of learning those controls, those nuances, those don't just develop overnight, you know. That comes from player experience. And player experience comes from hours poured into a game over and over years and years of playing. I can't tell you exactly why I decided to keep giving this game my time as a kid, even when I knew that it would ultimately underwhelm, but I think that, in and of itself, makes Sonic R worth at least a passing glance, don't you? The game, like many other Sonic games of its kind, has a decently active modding community, too, which is only ever good news for anything starring the Blue Hedgehog that's made its way to PC. I actually started playing Sonic Forces again just because of some of the mods. It doesn't make the game perfect, but, you know, I mean, it makes it a game. At the end of the day, I probably wouldn't recommend Sonic R to anyone, but I wouldn't dissuade anyone from looking at it either, would you? After all, even in the darkest places, sometimes it helps to be able to see the bright side. Whoa, okay, what?
Apologies for the repeat intrusion, Ms. Nezumi. I do hope this isn't a bad time.
No, it really is, actually. Probably the worst time. What do you want? That deal that you made me agree to tons of videos ago now?
No, actually. I was dropping by to inform you that your contract has already been thoroughly sorted. You need not provide anything else.
Huh? Wait, but what did I do exactly?
I suspected you might be capable of expelling a rather hideous wart hiding within my favorite racing game. And it seems you've managed to eliminate said issue, like I suspected.
Wait, so you sent me the game in the mail? You tricked me. You sicked that demon on me.
Not exactly. Hardly did I endeavor to make it do my bidding. I simply wanted it erased. And though I admit you were subject to some peril for your trouble, you did just as well as I thought you might.
And your favorite racing game is Sonic R, really?
No. Judgment should be reserved for those of us who don't have a guilty pleasure for the Sonic stages in Sonic 06 now. Shouldn't it, Miss Nezumi?
Okay, that's a low blow. Kind of f***ed up of you to say that, but whatever. Are we done? Like, is our contract over?
The terms have been settled, yes. You won't be hearing from me again.
Okay, cool. Any more skits in one video like this, and I'd start turning into the nostalgia critic.
That would be rather frightening, wouldn't it? I'll see myself out.
Please. Well, I guess that's settled. I'm thoroughly terrified and ready to return to Christmas time. I wish Monika could too, but some things have to stay in the past, I guess. I've learned that much. So, I'll see you guys later. I got a couple of ideas for what to do next, but I think I'll keep you on your toes for now. Happy Decemberween, everybody. Enjoy yourselves, stay safe, wash your hands, wear a mask if you decide to go outside, and please, 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 have happy holidays. I would really appreciate it if you did. Peace.
Prepare for unforeseen consequences. 2 to the 1 from the 1 to the 3. I like good racing at the World Grand Prix. Play so much R you wouldn't believe, and I get more rings than Miss Nezumi. Word to your mother. This is where I get off.